So not that long ago, I saw a horror movie called I See You, and one of the storylines involves a boy and a girl who hide in people's houses without them knowing, stealing their food and staying there a few days at a time until moving to another house to do the exact same thing. This type of storyline has been horrified many times within the genre, from movies such as The Boy as well as Within. Whether or not you found these movies scary, you have to admit that the idea of someone hiding in the walls of your house, flat or home is petrifying. After watching Within, I couldn't sleep properly for days because every small sound that I heard, I'd be determined that it was someone looking at me through a hole in the wall. As a result, I wanted to calm myself down a bit and reinforce the fact in my brain that this would literally never happen. Now here is the part where if this sort of thing really frightens you, you should definitely click away. When I researched this topic, I found so many horrific stories where this type of thing had actually happened in real life. An example is here. On Halloween, someone tweeted about their experience as a kid. They explained, "When I turned 9, I realised I could sneak downstairs after everyone was asleep and eat anything I wanted in the fridge. No one ever noticed. I could make a peanut butter, cheese whiz and mayo sandwich, eat leftover pizza, scrape off the icing from birthday cakes. As long as I was careful, I could do anything. Creeping down was the hardest part. I had to navigate the pitch dark house all the way downstairs in total darkness, like a tiny ninja. One night in May 81, we ordered from a fish and shrimp house. I waited until everyone was asleep and crept downstairs to eat the leftover sweet and sour pork. It took forever. I finally stepped into the totally dark den and let down my guard. All of a sudden, I heard a fork click in the counter. I froze. The microwave clock light showed, and the outline of a man sitting at our kitchen counter. He couldn't see me, but I saw him. A skinny guy eating our leftovers and drinking our milk from the carton. I can't explain how terrifying it is for someone to be in your house. I slowly backed away, crept upstairs and woke up my mum and dad. They made way too much noise and took too long, and by the time they got downstairs, the kitchen was empty. Everyone said I read too many horror comics, so they blew off what I said. But no way was I pouring milk on my cereal. Then in August, I was in my room reading when I looked up. There's an AC vent over my bed. Behind the vent, a pair of eyes were watching me. I freaked out and raised hell until my parents searched our attic and the crawl space under our house. Nothing. I wasn't very popular for a few weeks. The last week of August, our house started to smell. One night, rice fell out of the vent over my bed. Maggots. The AC people said something had probably crawled into our vents and died. Turns out what had crawled into our vents and died was the guy. We lived in an old house with lots of space between the walls and big ducts. He'd been living in them since May, at least. He'd put a foam pad beside my bedroom vent so he'd be comfortable while he watched me. The police said he'd made lots of drawings, but when I asked, they pretended they hadn't said anything. No one ever identified him. He was buried as a John Doe. To this day, I can't look inside the vents in houses, but sometimes when I'm at someone's house, I'll smell a little BO coming from their central air conditioning, and I'll wonder, who's living back there in their ducts? Who's living in the dark? Was that scary? I think so. But this next part is truly terrifying. This too is a true, real story, and the evidence is so messed up. A man and his girlfriend lived together, and he kept thinking that his girlfriend was eating and drinking lots and lots of stuff from the fridge, but denying it. He would keep track of how much of each food was left in the kitchen, and noticed that it would always get less and less, so he truly believed that she was just lying to him. He set up a camera, and this is what he found when he reviewed it. Amongst my research, I also found a man that the news had covered. Just like the previous video, he had found a lady who had been living in his attic for quite some time. Here is what I found.
He knocked on the door, but no response. He knocked again, then heard a woman's voice.
Jimmy? Is that you, Jimmy? And I'm like, no, it's not Jimmy. Who is this and why are you in my house?
Davis immediately called 911. Then a woman, a complete stranger, opened the door and was face to face with him.
And I'm like, who the heck are you? Why are you in my house? And she keeps kind of going, this is my house. I live here. I've been here for 3 days. Jimmy said I could live here. Jimmy said I could stay here.
Davis tried to keep the woman inside the house until police arrived, but she got away. He's puzzled as to how the woman even got in. Nothing appeared stolen, just a few things out of place. His fire escape ladder was hanging from the deck, and a screen from the bathroom window was in the tub.
It's just weird, you know?
Davis says the woman living in the attic had dark hair and wore gym pants with a black jacket and white hood. She also had a white knit cap and carried a backpack. Meanwhile, the family's now changing the locks and taking extra precautions. For Davis, it's hard to believe someone was staying here without anyone noticing.
To come into a house like this in this neighborhood that's clearly being lived in, that's bold.
Anyways guys, that's all for this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe with notifications on for more scary videos. Make sure to check out our website too for all things scary at fuyourreview.com. Until next time, horror lovers, peace.